What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. My name's Bigg, and today we are talking about 1984's The Terminator. Now, 1984's The Terminator is 100% certified classic, or they would not have made 87 Terminator movies after this. You know what I mean? Like, I am now embarking. I haven't done this in a while because I did so many franchises in the last couple years. Like, my list of franchises completed is insane. I still need to do things like The Terminator, Ghostbusters, maybe like Scream. I don't really love the Saw movies, but you get what I mean, like some horror movies. But The Terminator I haven't watched yet, and I want to say this Terminator 1 from 1984, I don't know if I've ever actually seen fully. I think I saw maybe bits and pieces on television when I was a kid, but I 100% remember T2, Judgment Day, you know, and like the little kid and Arnold Schwarzenegger coming back with the leather jacket and the motorcycle and the shotgun, right? Like, I remember T2, and the whole time I was watching this movie, I was remembering T2 and being like, alright, when is that going to happen? When is this going to happen? And it never did. And I was like, oh my god, Arnold's a serial killer in this movie? And some of this stuff from 1984 doesn't hold up so well. Like, some of the prosthetics don't look so great. Some of the, like the end, I mean, spoilers for a freaking 30-year-old movie, or 40-year-old plus movie at this point, but the end, you see the, what, T-1000 or T-100 or whatever, the Terminator exoskeleton, right? Like, at one point they burn away all of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's just the robot and the red eyes, and the thing's just like limping after them. And it seems like they did stop motion animation for that robot, and then cut on top of a plate of them in live action. And it, like, you know, today they would have been able to do it so much better and integrate the two shots so much better. But for 1984, it still holds up pretty damn well. And Arnold's great, you know, like, this is one of the first roles where, like, he's the Terminator, right? And you believe that he's this giant jacked robot man. And, you know, he just goes on like this straight up serial killer rampage, and he's just killing people trying to get to Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor, played by the wonderful and gorgeous Linda Hamilton. Michael BIEHN, B-I-E-H-N, BIEHN, I think. He played Kyle Reese, which I believe is the dad to John Connor. Paul Winfeld's in here as Traxel. And, you know, not too much of a distinct cast outside of them, because the main three are Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese, and the Terminator. And there's a couple cops and stuff in there, but I really dug the vibe of this movie. You know, some of the lines, like at one point there's the commissioner, right? Like the head sergeant, chief or whatever of police, and his like other detective, and his other detective's looking at him like, "Chief, you alright?" And he's like drinking a coffee, he's like, ah, and takes another sip, and he goes, "You know, that coffee's 2 hours cold." And he goes, "Yep." And then takes another sip, and he's enjoying it. And you can tell the guy's enjoying the cup of coffee. And then all of a sudden he goes, "You know, I put a cigarette out in that." And he takes another sip. And you're like, Jesus Christ, like, that had nothing to do with the movie. But it was just like little scene details that, you know, also are character details. Like, this cop is probably been up for 48 plus hours dealing with these killings, and he's, you know, a little bit caffeine deficient, so he's just trying to get the caffeine from any coffee he can. He doesn't care if it's got a little bit of cigarette butt in it or not. He's like, oh yeah, that ash, a little bit of cold coffee, like, what? Gross. But I will say this will probably start now a Terminator rewatch series, because now I want to go see Terminator 2. But how many Terminators are there total? Like, I'm pretty sure their last Terminator movie came out in like 2019 or something, or even that later, like 2021, 2022 or something like that. Like, he's still going, you know, 40 years later. Like, that's insanity. Just absolutely insanity that this movie's still going. Obviously, James Cameron gave up after 2, but, you know, the man's been busy doing other things, like, I don't know, the Avatar movies. Like, the guy's busy, you know. I can't wait for Avatar Avatar Fire and Ash, because Avatar 1 and 2 were absolutely phenomenal. And I just did a movie review for Avatar 1 recently, and talking about how much I love that movie, so over this weekend, I was like, wow, am I on a James Cameron kick? I don't know, I guess so. Do I have to go watch The Abyss now and in his other movies? True Lies with Arnold as well? Maybe. What about Piranha 2? You know what's surprising for James Cameron is he doesn't have so many director credits. You know what I mean? Like, I would have expected him to do a lot more than 17 movies, and a couple of those are like stuff that's not out, Avatar 4 and 5, and then, you know, documentary stuff where, like, you know, Aliens of the Deep, like, is that a movie? It's 95 minutes and it's kind of more documentary of his team going down to, like, the bottom of the ocean. Ghosts of the Abyss, and it seems like it's more of a documentary of James Cameron himself going down to the Titanic, you know, like, so James Cameron's filmography is Titanic, Avatar 1 and 2, Aliens 2, Terminator 1 and 2, True Lies, also with Arnold, The Abyss, Avatar 3, 4, and 5, and then Piranha 2. Those are his movies? He's done 12 movies and 3 of them haven't come out yet? I don't believe that. That can't be true. I'm sure he's produced other films, executive producer of 18 films. He executive produced Point Break, which is one of my favorite films ever. Granted, you know, he's also a writer on these same 12 films that I just named, you know, the Titanic, Avatars, Alien, Terminator, Terminator 2. He was also a writer with Robert Rodriguez on Alita Battle Angels, so I'm still kind of waiting for that sequel. It says he was also a writer on Rambo First Blood Part 2. Yeah, so, you know, James Cameron's the type of guy, you know, even if he hasn't made a whole lot of films, he's writing, editing, doing all of the things. You know, like, when James Cameron does a film, he touches every aspect of that film, and it's, you know, evident that it is his film, right? Like, you can feel it almost. And you can feel it here as well, all the way back in '84. Where he's probably, you know, still beginning and getting his footing. Now with, like, the Avatar, you know, he is non-compromising, don't care what your notes are, studio, like, this is my film, pay for it, shut the fuck up. You know, like James Cameron at this point, when it comes to filmmaking, he's just Paulie from Goodfellas. Fuck you, pay me, get the fuck out of my way. You know, like, it's true. But overall, I gave this movie 4 out of 5 stars, about an 8 out of 10, and I think that's very solid. It gives me some room to like other movies more and other Terminator movies less, you know? And so I think a good start point of 4 out of 5 stars for the first Terminator, and really, you know, it only loses a star for me because of the not holding up to today's type of standards, really. You know, like, and that's no fault of its own, you know, like, this movie didn't know it was still going to be watched in 2025, you know, like, so it is what it is, but everything else in it still holds up pretty damn well, and, you know, it's short, it's less than 2 hours, right, like, I respect the hell out of it when a movie can be an hour and 48 and just fucking rock and just be just as long as it needs to be. Like, not everything needs to be 3 hours unless it needs to be. You know, like, stories and movies should be as long as they need to be told. But that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you'd like to follow my other social medias, they are down in the links down in the description below. You can follow me over there and we can talk more movies or nerdy stuff. Comically Boston podcast every Monday, where we talk the weekly nerdy news, and Comically Boston breakdown episodes of your favorite TV shows, whether it's Daredevil, Born Again, The Last of Us, House of the Dragon when that was coming out, you know, Andor, Ahsoka, you know, Star Wars stuff, with Andor Season 2 coming up around the corner. So stay tuned, y'all, and if you're watching this over the weekend, or if this comes out afterwards, I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but happy Easter, and I hope you guys had a good Easter. It was also 420, so for my people out there celebrating 420, and also the WrestleMania weekend. So a very exciting, fun weekend, and hopefully the weather's nice and stays nice for us, and I hope everyone had a great time with their families, and I will see you beautiful people in the next video. Peace!